Welcome to this edition of Sunset News. In this half hour, we bring you the latest news, stories from the community, economic indicators, tomorrow's weather and sports. I am Aina Raiza Kweyo. In the news tonight, Msati Governor Ergunus Njala is warning Namibians not to hire and abuse Angolan immigrants who return seeking employment. Njala said they will work with the police in his region to make sure that immigrants are not exploited and exposed to harsh employment conditions. Thousands of Angolan nationals entered Namibia last year, fleeing a devastating drought affecting their areas of origin in the southern parts of Angola. They have been repatriated in January this year, but have since slowly found their way back through the Namibian unguided borders, claiming that the humanitarian aid provided by the Angolan government was not enough. In our next story, a problem causing male lions was put down through a trophy hunt last week on Thursday in a mountainous East Sesfontein, generating 150,000 Namibian dollars. This follows after it had been terrorizing the communities living in Sesfontein and Puros area for several years. The 150,000 Namibian dollars that the hunt generated will be split between the Puros and Sesfontein conservancies, of which each will receive 65,000 Namibian dollars to assist in paying affected farmers. Furthermore, 20,000 Namibian dollars is paid to the Game Product Trust Fund to be reinvested in conservation. In our next story, Greenspace is currently busy to extend the wheelchair path at the Aves Dam with 60 meters. The Aves Dam is one of the very few places in Windhoek where people who have difficulty walking or cannot walk at all go for some movement and fresh air in nature. The Aves Dam currently offers a 500-meter long wheelchair path, benches along the way to the rest, and enjoy a beautiful panorama over the dam and into the hills and mountains surrounding. Moving right along, as part of the newest procurement tracker quarterly report that was released by the IPPR in the House of Democracy today, the manner in which the government awarded a major project as part of the National Green Hydrogen Initiative to the German firm Hyphen Hydrogen Energy was questioned. According to the IPPR report, no response have been forthcoming after the procedures was questioned. It is the largest tender awarded in the national history of Namibia, and it is therefore seems strange that the government refuses to answer this question in transparent manners. They have awarded a month to respond and were reminded twice, yet chose to ignore the inquiry. Family and friends were relieved yesterday when a 65-year-old Marietta Velem was released on bail after more than 2 weeks in detention. The woman farmer from Fokshof who caused a death of the 31-year-old Zakaria Kanje on the 15th of March after he allegedly assaulted her just outside her farmhouse early in the morning, was released on bail, which was 10,000 Namibian dollars yesterday. The proceedings in the Grootfontein Magistrate Court were initially delayed because a public prosecutor was not available, and the arrangements have to be made for an alternative public prosecutor. Now, in our next story, the Ovaherero Traditional Authority as well as the Ovaherero Genocide Foundation, under the leadership of 5 chiefs, recently approached the Swakopmund Discussion Circle of German-speaking Namibians for a dialogue on contemporary matters regarding the genocide and reparation process. There it became clear why the Namibian-German joint declaration was not accepted in 2021. Not only is there no evidence of sincere acknowledgement of the genocide in this document, there is also no sense of guilt or sincere apology. Furthermore, repairs must be done for what has been taken away. The demand is for compensation, not aid for development, while compensation offered is not coming close to even being accepted. Now, in community news tonight, we zone in on the World Wetland Days and the affected foods and fuel prices increase in Rundu. We'll see you right after the break.
Choose your Flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in 1 bundle. It's new, it's 1 bill, and you can stay connected in more than 1 location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Thank you very much for joining us. We are back with the Community Talk. Marking the annual World Wetland Day and International Day of Forest, the city of Windhoek touted their aquifer recharging station, which ensures that the capital had access to safe water during the past years of drought. Jereen Hoffer reports on what managed aquifer recharging entails.
That the supply of potable water to residents remained uninterrupted for the past 5 years. MAR, also known as water banking, is a tool to replenish aquifers and increase underground water storage using excess surface water, treated wastewater and urban stormwater. But to save this water, we need some way to bank it. Rather than unsightly above-ground storage tanks, the city uses underground storage reservoirs known as aquifers. They hold water in porous or fractured rock, while clay helps to contain this water. Most agricultural regions have a wet season when higher rainfall means there's less need for irrigation, which is the perfect time to catch excess runoff. Water is simply filtered through the soil and banked in a shallow aquifer. It can then be used when the dry season returns. As a bonus, storing water this way means there are no algae blooms, no mosquito problems, and this reduces evaporation when things really heat up. In urban settings, stormwater can be collected and injected into a well to reach a deeper aquifer. The stored water can then be recovered via the same well and used for potable water for homes and industries or treated to become drinking water. Urban centers like Windhoek also produce significant amounts of wastewater. This can also be used to recharge deeper aquifers and is available for recycling all year round. MAR also helps recycle urban wastewater without a disruption to environments that waste discharge can sometimes cause. Marking the annual World Wetland Day and International Day of Forests, Windhoek City Councillor Austin Kwinani said that the city currently has 7 established recharge stations where water can be injected into the underground aquifer to enhance the groundwater replenishment process, which is otherwise slow under Namibia's arid conditions. He said the previous drought period leading up to 2020 showcased the effectiveness of the management of Windhoek's aquifer and other surrounding aquifers, adding that the abstraction of groundwater shifted from a supplemental role to the main conjunctive supply source. He said that the MAR method contributes significantly to the recovery of groundwater levels after periods of drought and high dependencies on the aquifer system to provide potable water.
Rundu resident Cecilia Iyambo spoke to Kenya Kambowe about how the increase of food and fuel prices has affected her livelihood and those in her community.
Ms. Iyambo, can you just tell us how the increase in food prices as well as the fuel has impacted your livelihood as well as those in your community that you know of?
It has affected our livelihoods negatively, I must say, because we were not ready. Everything just started increasing at the same time, the food, the fuel, everything. I mean, we were just recovering from the effects of COVID-19, and then this happens. So it really caught a lot of us off guard, especially for myself. And I can only imagine for those now who are not employed, especially in the community where I live, for them it must be even more severe, because now they cannot get as much as they used to from the grant that they usually used to get, because now the food is expensive, of course. But again, I think there's an opportunity in these times. This is now when we as Namibians should now start producing our own food, because clearly these times are not favorable for all of us. But I believe if we start growing our own food, even if it's just an backyard garden, I think that will help us a lot.
Now, in our story of the day, we look at the fuel prices going up in Namibia today. More on that after the break.
It must be paid and settled. NASFAF has a set of guidelines on how you can repay your loan and become debt-free. Therefore, it is important that you, a former beneficiary and a responsible Namibian, show your patriotism by helping pay back your loan and thus helping NASFAF become a revolving fund for the benefit of future potential students. By failing to pay back your NASFAF loan, you risk being blacklisted or having a court order against you. So arrange with the fund to pay back your loan today. For more information on how you can repay your loan, visit our website at www.nasfaf.na or visit our Facebook page or Twitter. Do the right thing and hashtag #paybackthemoney.
Welcome back to Sunset News. Now, if you haven't filled up your vehicle yet, you better make sure to get to the service station for your liquid gold before the price goes up. Yolanda Nell has more.
Motorists have been seen flocking to service stations since early this morning before the price increase of $1.95 for petrol and $2.95 for diesel at midnight on Tuesday. According to an Okahanya resident who works in Windhoek, she is spending about 3,000 Namibian dollars every second week driving to and from work. And while she does have the option to work from home on most days, her children school in the capital. Considering the petrol price increase, cheaper accommodation in Okahanya still keeps her family from moving to the capital. She said it feels as if she works to be able to drive to work. Taxi drivers also feel frustrated, saying it's better to only drive during peak hours and finding a spot to wait until the masses need their services. According to one taxi driver who wishes to remain anonymous, he can cut his operating hours in half because it is just not economical driving around trying to look for customers. The latest calculations by the ministry indicate that the average price for unleaded petrol 95 over the period 1 to 24 March is $129.89 per barrel compared to $109 per barrel at the end of February, a sharp spike of about $20 per barrel in just 24 days. Additionally, the average price for diesel over the period 1 to 24 March is $144.67 per barrel compared to $109.33 per barrel at the end of February, a sharper spike of $35 per barrel in just 24 days. These sharp increases are occurring in a very uncertain global oil market environment. Although the exchange rate figures for the same period indicate that the Namibian dollar has recorded a slight appreciation against the US dollar, it does nothing to improve the situation. After entering the above input factors into the fuel pricing models and despite the recent increases of 120 cents per litre for petrol and 130 cents per litre for diesel, the ministry again recorded large under-recoveries for both products, namely 220 cents per litre on petrol and 359 cents per litre on diesel. This is the first time in recent memory that such extraordinary under-recoveries have been recorded. According to a statement by the ministry, it must be noted that the National Energy Fund will cover the entirety of the under-recoveries recorded between 1 and 31 March this year on the behalf of fuel consumers through the Fuel Equalization Levy. This amounts to approximately 390 million Namibian dollars.
The Ministry of Mines and Energy, with the assistance of GIZ, launched the Green People's Energy Project. We talk about that in economic news coming up right after the break. Thank you very much for watching Sunset News tonight. Now, in economic news, the Ministry of Mines and Energy, with the assistance of GIZ, launched the Green People's Energy Project to contribute to the universal and sustainable energy access for Namibians. Citizens have the opportunity to apply for subsidized loans at an interest rate of 5% per annum over the 5 years to finance renewable energy technologies such as solar home system, photovoltaic water pumps and solar water heaters. Now coming up next is your economic indicators. The Namibian dollar is down against the Chinese yuan and up against other major currencies. Letshego Holdings and Namibia Assets Management stock held their ground while MTC took a 6.10% plunge. The local index and the overall index both closed down at 1.21% and 0.22% respectively. Looking at commodities, gold and zinc are down while copper and Brent crude oil are up 0.67% and 2.9% respectively. After the break, we take a look at the weather predictions. See you soon. Happy Tuesday and welcome back to Sunset News. Now let's have a look at tomorrow's weather predictions. Rundu can expect some rains and a minimum of 18 degrees, while Enana is the hottest in the country, expecting maximum temperatures of 36 degrees. Rehoboth and Aranos will be sunny with a maximum of 30 degrees predicted, while partly cloudy conditions grace Oranienburg with a minimum of 12 degrees. Now, in the international news slot, we zone in on Rwanda as the Court of Appeal upholds a 25-year sentence of Hotel Rwanda hero. Please stay with us. Thank you for joining us this evening. Now, in international news, Rwanda's Court of Appeal on Monday upheld a 25-year prison term against Hotel Rwanda hero Paul Rusesabagina, who was convicted last year on charges of terrorism, rejecting a prosecution appeal to increase a penalty to life. Since he is a first-time offender, the court finds that his sentence should not be increased because the 25-year he has been given is in accordance with the weight of his crime, and the court maintains his sentence, said Judge Francois Regis. The case was started in August 2020, after what Rusesabagina described as a kidnapping from Dubai by the Rwandan authorities. Rusesabagina worked as a manager of the Hotel de Mille Cornell in Kigali and helped sheltered Hutus and Tutsis refugees there during the Rwandan genocide in 1994. He was accused of supporting an armed wing of his opposition political platform, the Rwandan Movement for Democratic Change. The group had claimed some responsibility for attacks in 2018 and 2019 in the south of the country, in which 9 of the Rwandan people have died. Now, in sport news, we look at cricket. Namibia's result, David Dem's trip to South Africa, and the latest from the Namibian Paralympic community. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sunset News. Let's have a look at sports news. Namibia took an unbeatable 2-1 lead in their 50 overs series against Ireland Wolves when they won their fourth match by 6 wickets on Sunday. With one match having rained out, Namibia now holds a 2-1 lead in the series ahead of the final match today. One of Namibia's emerging athletic stars, David Dem, is traveling to South Africa today to test his running skills in the 800 and 1,500 meter against the best in that country. The competition will start tomorrow, continue on Saturday and next week, Wednesday. Namdia sponsored the long-distance runner and his trainer, Berthold Karumendu, with 50,000 Namibian dollars. Namibia Paralympic Committee Secretary General Michael Hamukwaya says more athletes with disability need to be classified for their results to be recognized by the International Paralympic Committee ranking. Hamukwaya said despite the athletes' incredible performance at the championships, some of their results will not be recorded because they are not internationally classified. Now, after the break, we bring you your highlights from today's broadcast. Stay with us.
Choose your flex package with Paratus today. Sign up for ultra-fast fiber with the convenience of mobile LTE. That's 2 products in one bundle. It's new, it's one bill, and you can stay connected in more than one location.
For more information, visit paratus.africa/NA.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Welcome back to Sunset News. If you didn't get a chance to catch up on our top stories tonight, here are some of the headlines. Umsati Governor Erginus Njala is warning Namibians to not hire and abuse Angolan immigrants who return seeking employment. Njala said they will work with the police in his region to make sure that the immigrants are not exploited and exposed to harsh employment conditions. Thousands of Angolan nationals entered Namibia last year, fleeing a devastating drought affecting their areas of origin in the southern parts of Angola. The Ovaherero Traditional Authority, as well as the Ovaherero Genocide Foundation, under the leadership of 5 chiefs, recently approached the Swakopmund Discussion Circle of German-speaking Namibians for a dialogue on contemporary matters regarding the genocide and reparation process. There it became clear why the Namibian Joint Declaration was not accepted in 2021. One of Namibia's emerging athletic stars, David Dem, is traveling to South Africa today to test his running skills in the 800 and 1,500 meters against the best in that country. The competition will start tomorrow, continue on to next week Saturday as well as Wednesday. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all NMA's platform on weekdays, as well as on our website, OneUp2. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285 as well as GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 to 8 p.m. My name is Aina Raiza Kweyo and this has been Sunset News. Don't end your day without us. Good night.